Welcome back to Let's Play Higurashi Himatsubushi. Gotta say, the audio quality really sucked in the last recording. It's cause, I plugged the charger back in, but I forgot to take it back out once it, charged up enough, so it ended up being, all, I fucking hate that sound. Also, background. Recent news, Answer Rocks now available on Steam. Oh my god, at last, a release date for Golden Fantasia. What the fuck's that? I don't know. And then it's the final 4 chapters of Umineko When They Cry. So it's the other series. No wonder why they're taking so goddamn long. They must have been focused on the Answer Rocks for that other series. Which isn't, the only thing that, I don't know. You know that Frederica Burnskill thing? I think she's a character in that, so she is referenced in Higurashi, sort of, and kind of connected, I think, maybe, but I don't care. I've not read those. There's no wonder why it's taken them so long, you know? But if it's called Umineko, what the hell does that even mean? In my mind, I register as sea cats? I don't know. I mean, Umi means sea, Neko means cat. Combine the two and you got a sea cat? That's probably not what it is. Well, you never know. Higurashi When They Cry. Sea cats when they cry. Who knows? Who cares? Let's continue. And by continue, I mean I'm still going to ramble a bit here and there. Well, I always ramble in my videos, really. We have 4 tips. For a second, the color there is just is that Shion? No, it's not. It's just a freaking background file next to our phone, you idiots. It just reminded me of her with the freaking color. You know, in the class of the college, I've actually been we're doing a kind of creative writing thing where we have to come up with a legend and shit like that. And you know what? I came up with an idea for it, and just a few lines into writing it, and I was like, holy shit, I'm basing this legend sort of from Higurashi. Okay, get this right. Here's the setting for this legend that I've been writing, essentially. A lost village of sorts in the mountains. Sounds a bit like Higurashi, except for the lost bit. Although even that's connected a bit. You know, I don't know. Just the idea for the story is there is a legend that there is a lake in the mountains that once had a village there many years ago, and there was a massive flood that pretty much sank the whole village underwater, and not many people survived, but there was one lone house built slightly further up from the village that was the only one not destroyed, and so the few survivors of the catastrophe were suspicious of those people, and they blamed it on them for the apocalyptic flood of the village. Well, this is interesting, right? But I still haven't got it all fully figured out what I want to do fully with the legend. It's because all I was thinking of at the time, I had these kind of pictures that we had just to draw inspiration from, and one had this nice little house that was in the mountains, this kind of fantasy looking house almost. Well, yeah, very fancy look to it, and you just see a kind of lake or something passing through it, and I connected that with an image which I suppose was based on Atlantis, because it has a sinking statue of what I think might have been Poseidon. So I just connect those, and I was well, I want to have some kind of mystery elements to this tale. So let's make it so that we got the villagers are not too keen on outsiders. They look at people with suspicion. And I also took inspiration from this again by being oh, and in the month of May is the only time no one is allowed to leave the village, for there is preparations for a festival of sorts, and I haven't really thought of what to do with that yet. But it's just to kind of make the suspicions of the villagers even more at the family that lives in the house that's further up from the village, essentially, by having one of their members of our family leaving the village during that month, And they just like, I knew it, they're heathens! They're going to be the death of us all and shit and blah. And there's a bunch of other things that I can't quite think of off the top of my head. Maybe I'll ramble about it further on, but anyway, let's look at some tips. Just drew inspiration from this story, you know. Oh really? It's tough when it's such a sudden assignment. Oh wait, that's Yuki, isn't it? Oh really, it's tough when it's such a sudden assignment. Please be careful. Where are you headed? You're already there. Oh, this must be where he phoned her from. Well, he phoned, like, work previously, didn't he? I guess he also later on obviously phoned her. Whenever I headed out on assignment, she would ask where. Not just Yuki, but anybody would have asked the same question. If it was a cold place, she would urge me to pack a thick jacket. If it was far, she'd warn me to be careful on the drive over. It was just normal everyday concern that led to her asking such an obvious thing. I felt certain I couldn't answer such a run-of-the-mill question. Sorry, it's something that you can't... Oh, wait, no. Sorry, it's something that you can't talk about, isn't it? Please be careful. Sorry, Yuki. At some point you started apologizing right away. Even though when you first started your job you were all gung-ho about it. I remember doing that stupid laughing freaking, what was it? Echo Night on my main channel back in October. Yuki laughed as though she had realized something. At times like this, Yuki had the magical power to see right through me. She also had the magical power of seeing that we have not had the word for the day. So let's look for our word of the day. Second, soap. I learned that word ages ago, but I couldn't remember what that word was. It was one of the words in the course from the first one. I've also completed the Mongolian one as well. Now that I've actually completed it, I just like, while I was waiting for my brother to pick me up from the college because he gives me a lift, I just like had these printed off parts showing it all, and I was just like, okay, I'm gonna try to like a kind of game in a way, you know, like, well, not a game, like a crossword of sorts. It's like, okay, let's decipher the language here, put it into letters. Yes, I'd be like, yes, that odd-looking character is D. That A, well, that's a bloody A. Obviously, that M is an M. That P is an R, and so on, because it's a bit different, isn't it? What I find interesting about it is Mongolian has a couple of writing systems, but the main one seems to be what is essentially the Russian alphabet, and that also is like used in a couple other languages as well. So from the sounds of it, they pretty much use the same syllables, so it's like kind of connected but different languages, I think, maybe. Either way it goes, it's kind of interesting. It's already been quite a while since I was admitted to the hospital. Are you finally getting lonely? Don't tease me. I'm too old to get lonely. Oh, really? You actually like to be doted on, don't you? Don't you start getting a little faint of heart when I'm not around? Imagine if she laughed like that. She'd be like, why did I marry a woman with such an unusual laugh? Ah, jeez, I can see the little devil horn sprouting from your head right now. You've always been like this. You can't hide it, you can't hide it. If I don't play with you, you get all lonely. I can hear your tail wagging over the phone. This side of Yuki wasn't something you could guess existed from seeing her usual modest behavior, and it was something that she didn't show to anybody else but me. You know, this part, when I upload it, it's gotta be like a freaking... I mean, let's have a look at that, actually. And let's look here. Look at the thumbnails so far. Oishi's the only character to really appear on screen in any of these. He could also appear in this one, but I chose this thumbnail because it's just like, now we've already got one Oishi, so we'll put it there. And when I look at playlists, for example, I mean, look at that. There's always like 4. Once there's like 4 more videos, the first 4 parts are going to be, you know, the first ones you see. I mean, does this look interesting to you? Just like, well, that looks nice. That kind of just like, eh. Just like, eh. What? Eh. Just eh. While these ones actually have all the characters in them, which is nice. But no, not for Himatsubushi, because I think the only 2 characters with portraits are freaking Oishi and Rika, and we haven't even ran into Rika yet. I also looked up what Himatsubushi actually means, and you know what it actually means? Time-wasting arc or something like that. It's just like, we're just wasting your time here. Well, we are getting backstory, but still. I mean, Rika, man, she finally gets her own arc sort of thing. Well, she'll get more things later on and all, but I won't spoil it. But her first, like, one where it's focused on her, and it's barely anything going on with any characters appearing on screen. Also, one other note is, well, I can't see it right here. But, you know, which one was it? It was Tanagashi, wasn't it? But Tanagashi has Shion's, face in the, thingamabob. You know the thingamabob, right? Ah, fuck yeah, let's move it here. Thingamabob right here. And that kind of sucks in a way, because sure, she was kind of important there, you know, obviously. My first answer arc, we'll be going over that. But why couldn't it have been Mion, goddammit? She didn't get an appearance on one of these. I mean, Onikakushi had Rena, Tanagashi had Shion, Tarigoroshi had Stuku, and this one right here, Himatsubushi, has Rika. Mion got the shit stick on this one. Anyways, where was I? I didn't say anything else but me. Normally I'd poke her to hide my embarrassment and bring an end to the conversation, but I couldn't do that over the phone. Could have done it if it was Facebook, I suppose. Of course, Yuki was clever. She was teasing me because of that. Seriously, what is the point of that anyway? I barely ever use Facebook. Facebook to me nowadays is, how would you describe that? It's like, I don't know. Well, I suppose, because like, it's more or less like a bell at a hotel or something, where my mother messages me just like, oh, water, and I'd have to like go and like get the water from her fridge, which is in her room, but she's too lazy to get it. I mean, fair enough. She actually has arthritis, so fair enough, but she does kind of play up the laziness quite a bit, you know. So that's more or less what Facebook is mostly like for me, really. Don't really use it. I used to browse through like the feed and all that, but I just got too depressed from that shit after a while. It's just like, same shit. People just freaking, just like posts on whatever and be comment sections of just complete shit. And it'd just be shit. So it's like, ah, fuck it. Anyways. I wonder when I figured out that giving you grief was this much fun. Oh yeah, the reason I freaking brought that up, isn't it? It's like, still, don't understand what the freaking, like, who thought of that idea? It's like, okay, Facebook, we're gonna have an option to poke. It's just like, what? Not this. That sounds suggestive, really, doesn't it? Just like, this person has poked you. Poke back, poke. Poke. It's kind of like, why? I remember MSN Messenger back in the day had this annoying option that made sense, but man, when someone like really spams it, it's annoying. I forget what it was called, but it essentially makes an annoying sound where it's just like it's a notification sound that's really loud. Give me a break. In any case, it's good to hear you so lively. I know, right? Did I cheer you up? I had called Yuki to keep her from feeling lonely when she was by herself in the hospital room. Of course, that was nothing more than a pretense that I, being shy, had come up with. It seemed that Yuki had long since seen through that act. Yeah. Please phone again. When I'm not feeling up to it, I'll get my father to talk with you. Although if you're talking with my father, I get the feeling that you'd be standing at attention on the other side of the line. For a while longer, Yuki kept teasing me about letting me end the call. Sounds like most calls in general, really. Wow. Well, I rarely, use the phone at all. Well, saying that, I did use the phone a while, I think yesterday even, but it's still a rare occurrence. I mean, all I was yesterday was just like my brother calling me to say like he's ready to give me a lift to my guitar lesson and shit like that. And it was a real simple call. Just like he said he's waiting in the car, and I was like, alright, be out now. And like, bye. That was it. But you know how some calls are like, where it's like, yeah, bye, and then he'd be like, I'm just gonna ramble on for several more minutes. Don't you hang up on me now. And you're just like, yeah, bye. Oh, and this, and bye, and this, and bye. God damn it, shut the fuck up, so I'm gonna hang up the fucking phone. I'm not even the one paying for this call, and I'm getting impatient. Record for opening remarks. Opening remark, you're a dumbass. Chairman Blah. Members of the Blah Party. It's still kind of like, well, it doesn't bother me, it kind of amuses me in a way, really. Well, it does kind of bug me in a way. Why couldn't you just been like, if you just, why do you have to like, I don't know. Maybe they're doing it like legitimately. It's like, okay, this is taking place in 1978, I think. And just like, and we're going to like put in real people into the story, but we don't want to at the same time. Because they probably wouldn't be allowed to do that. So it's like, blah, XX, members of the XX party. Not the triple X party, though that's an entirely different party. Congratulations are due, as we are celebrating 25 years since our founding. These past 25 years have seen much growth in Blah Prefecture. The once quiet scenery of nothing but fields now has seen the opening of a new stop for the bullet train. With the development of the highway, we've seen the rebirth of a modern city bursting with youthful energy. We've reaped the benefits of new businesses and industry. And with the special reverence the residents of Blah Prefecture have for time-honored traditions. What the hell happened with the text there? It's just like, pause, just like, honored traditions, then it's like, oh shit, we're gonna need fuck it. Traditions down here now. History and culture, business and industry, with these ideals in harmony, they have become relished in growing their city into one of Japan's foremost metropolises in a monotone. Of course, the development of Blah Prefecture couldn't have happened without the growth of the Blah Party. That's one thing I didn't really dislike. Actually, is like, I don't really know much about Japan's politics, really. It's just like they mentioned it's like, oh, it would fall into the left-wing groups. So is the politics a bit more right-wing in Japan back then? Are they still seeing? I don't know. That's the thing, really, with politics. Just like, it's a shit storm, really, isn't it? Just like a lot of people just pick sides. It's like, no left, no right, no left, no right, and even the slightest leaning to one side is like, no, I hate you now, and stuff. Anyways, enough politics. That's a shit subject to speak of. We are resolved to see every one of our campaign promises to fruition. Could you imagine that? Just like a bunch of politicians gallery, it's like, we're going to discuss politics, right? It's like, no, that's a shit subject. Let's not talk about that. But that's our job. Yeah, but it's a shit subject, man. This leads to us all bickering like children. Just like, but that's what we're employed to do. Anyways, reaching our targets divinely and expectantly like arrows fired from a bow. With these arrows as the fundamental basis of the Blah Party, our members have sought to pierce the obstructions preventing the happiness of the residents of Blah Prefecture. I do believe that everybody here is unlike an ordinary arrow. While being as unfaltering and straightforward, we have not neglected in seeking solutions that conform to the current day and age while also keeping an eye on the future. An arrow, once loosened, can only fly to its destination. Everyone here, however, is no simple arrow. Even once loose from the bow without neglecting our studies, while employing new methods and implementing more effective and flexible ideas, thus being able to change trajectories mid-flight. We are magical arrows. The modern age marches ever forward. Sometimes it marches faster than the time taken from planning to execution. The following part was not in the script. It is thought to have been ad-libbed by the minister. For example, there have recently been numerous problems with the Hinamizawa power plant project. Rather than forcing through the project solely because it was decided upon by the government, it is necessary to reflect on and adjust to the ever-changing needs of the residents, the region, and the next generation. The protests by the local residents that surround the Hinamizawa Dam. These are also the will of the people of Blah Prefecture. If you feel that there is no need to listen because the project has already been finalized, then you do nothing more than shed a poor light on Japan's post-war democracy. The following is as per the script. For the lasting happiness of the citizens of Japan and the residents of Blah Prefecture, please consider these policies for a lay. I believe, however, we have all gained something from the flexibility and foresight of the Blah Party. I've taken up much of your time, however, allow me to say the following to celebrate the 25th anniversary of our founding. Chairman Blah, members of the Blah Party in attendance, thank you very much for today. From the opening remarks of the Blah Party Prefectural Forum and 25th Anniversary Celebration. Gears and fire and the taste of honey. That image does not say honey, does it? Well, of course not. Ooh, mysterious new track. Or have we heard this before? The world is filled with people blessed with relationships. Of course, that doesn't mean that everyone is connected to each other. It's obvious that on the other side of the planet, there are people laughing and crying who can't possibly have an effect on you. However, in the extremely limited community of the neighborhood, that sort of connection is just a matter of fact. It's quite possible that a single remarkable event could have massive consequences inside a small community. If you were to increase that in scale, a perfect stranger on the other side of the globe might become enough of a legend to have an effect on our lives. Well, it's not always that way. Like I said at the beginning, the links between people basically aren't that relevant in the grand scheme of things. Whether some household nearby is having snake or croquettes doesn't matter to me. When I put on my shoes, it doesn't matter to anybody whether I put the right one on first or the left. This thing is just like, oh, what a random question. It's like, what foot do you put the shoe on first, the right or the left? I'm thinking I usually do the right foot, honestly. Just like, but it doesn't matter, it has no relevance here. This much the average person can understand, but actually in reality this is the truth. The bonds between people are quite well defined. It's not just a matter of distance, of being far or near. For example, let's say that person A's actions have some effect on me. Even then, person B's actions could have absolutely no consequences in my life. The reverse also holds true. Just because my actions affect person A, that doesn't always mean that they affect person B as well. Let's put it bluntly. If the bonds between people are like gears in a machine, the gear that represents me meshes with some people, but is isolated from others. There are some who would try arguing against this. These people would bring up the example of gears in a clock. Each gear indeed only directly meshes with one or two others. However, if you rotate one gear, the one next to it is moved, which connects the next one and the next. In the end, all the gears are moving. There is a logic behind this, more than enough to convince the average person. Why is the argument convincing? The answer is simple. The relationships between people are ambiguous and can only be described conceptually. You know, I was just like wondering, it's like, what the fuck is this guy doing anything to the story? And now I'm just like, yeah, I get it. You probably don't if you've not read it before, but I get it. How the gears are connected and how their movement are chained together can't be used as a fundamental explanation, so it throws a wet blanket on that argument. So, for the people who like that explanation, I'll use the example of a clock again to refute it. First of all, to say that this world is a singular clock would be wrong. That is, there isn't only one clock. There exist many clocks in this world, each counting their own time. If you think about it, the idea that this world is just one big clock is the height of arrogance. Even if you use the analogy of gears to explain human relationships, then you should be able to explain it using an analogy of multiple clocks unrelated to a single gear. Neighbors A and B. A is a gear in the same clock as me, so it's best to remain civil. B is a gear in a different clock, so he doesn't really matter to me at all. That's the kind of clear distinction I'm talking about. You know, another thing I've noticed, like reading this in this kind of like voice brought on by the mysterious music that I just put on, I'm just keeping the voice for reading this. I've noticed I'm reading it properly for once. You know how I rush through some lines? While I'm reading this, I'm reading it in a proper way, making appropriate pauses in the text. I want to say I'm being fallacious. You're trying to say that my pronunciation was thrown off because I totally jinxed it. It was just like, oh, I was reading that quite well there, and then blah. And let's change the analogy to something more familiar, so you can understand. You'll probably hear the phrase, a fire on the opposite shore. Something in your life. Sometime in your life, goddammit. No. For example, if your neighbor's house was on fire, you'd probably try and help to put it out, wouldn't you? Unless you were the one who did it, you bastards! Anyways, it'd be awful if the fire spread and burned down your own house, after all. Much like if you did that, you were probably you're either a complete idiot or you're trying to get some insurance shit. In which case, you're an asshole, I'll wait. But what if the fire was in a town on the opposite side of a river? Would you still go out of your way to help? I'd imagine they'd probably just go there. It's like, oh look, a fire. Let's just stand around and stare at it until they put it out, I guess. Just like, what do you want me to do? Put it out myself? You wouldn't, would you? Even though it would be the wrong thing to do, there's no way the fire could spread to your own house. Even if it turned into a huge conflagration, there's no relation between the houses that will spread fire to yours and those that won't. With this basic example, you should be able to see the difference between gears that are or aren't related to your own. Having said that, there's still a lot to think about, even without a river to divide it. After all, it's not a special problem, is it? Being on the other side of the river, is it? Fascinating. The chick in the trunk. The chick in the trunk? The car had stopped, but he didn't know any more than that. And neither do we, because that's all you've pointed out for us so far. But not only was he blindfolded, but locked in the trunk of the car. So he's the chick in the car? Why that wording? How could people become this powerless just by being robbed of their sight? He absolutely wouldn't have known this without experiencing it firsthand. He soon realized it was pointless to try and undo his bonds, that his confines of the trunk quickly making him lightheaded. He had no choice but to let this mild torture dull his senses. That's why when the car stopped and the unpleasant vibrations ceased as the engine was killed, he couldn't help but delude himself that he was being set free, even though nothing had been resolved in reality. Of course, he was soon resolved from that delusion, removed. He strained his ears when he heard one of the men who had abducted him and an older man he was hearing for the first time strike up the conversation. It's very obvious who this perspective is from then, isn't it? Nice to see you. The chick is in the trunk. He struggled so much that he's probably exhausted right now. There's not a mark on him, just as ordered. Why are you referring to him as the chick? Ah, must have been a handful. The trunk opened, letting in a blast of fresh, cool air. Even though up until just now he had been thinking about getting out of the stuffy trunk, when it was actually opened, he suddenly became uneasy. Enough so that he wished that the lid of the trunk would once again close, separating himself from them. Suddenly someone stroked his head. Of course, since he was blindfolded, he couldn't tell if the hand was petting him or simply evaluating how easy it would be to remove his scalp. Unable to tell the difference, he could only freeze as he imagined the worst-case scenario. Poor little bugger, he's a shaking. Just stay calm for a bit. The older man said that kindly as he gently stroked the boy's head. This must be real tough for you. But you see, Gramps is a nice man. He'll help you soon enough. Having heard nothing but the average standard dialect his whole life, the older man's distinct intonation left a deep impression on the boy. But he had no idea what he was saying. It's like that. Then he'll grow up and become a politician himself, and he'll be looking down on people from the countryside. He'll be like, "This, I was scarred, right? Perfectly reasonable explanation to take this on into my later career, but fuck those people because this one old guy and some other guy abducted me, so that is why I will see all people from that side as being assholes, even though that's completely illogical." For your Gramps to register as meaning your grandfather took a while to process. Really? Well, then again, this is, Japanese, right? Is there, well, yeah, different dialects, isn't it? But which one? How many are there? I mean, I think it's, well, actually, when you think about it, look at accents in general, like, the British accents, like, people always go to the typical kind of posh English accent. There's a lot of accents throughout Britain. And, like, there's, like, heck, even America, anywhere in the world, really. There'll be, like, certain kind of things, certain different wordings, and, like, certain omissions of letters in pronunciation and shit like that. So I can imagine why it would be a bit confusing. But how would it be like in Japanese, is how I wonder. Eventually the hand that was stroking his head loosened the blindfold. Can't keep his eyes covered. If he splits his face open, it'd be bad. Alright, man, with that, we might as well take out that guy. He need breathe like that. It'll be trouble if he yells. Leave him to us. Jeez, you guys don't know how to treat somebody. The main family said no rough stuff. You better remember that well. Yeah, you won't do anything stupid. As long as the kid cooperates, that is. The man's hands prodded roughly and repeatedly at the boy's head. A rugged hand, unlike the affectionate one that had been stroking his head before. Just stay cooperative. If he struggled, there's no guarantee what will happen. That cliched threat was literally beaten into his head. God damn it. 15 minutes left on the charger, god damn it. I hate this stupid charger. Because now that I plugged it back in, it's going to be like... It's just like the charger doesn't last long, and sometimes it doesn't charge properly. It's faulty and shit. I think it's the battery, not the actual charger thing itself, Whatever. Continue. Waking up in a cheap hotel in the city was by no means pleasant. I remembered even during the long camping trips we had during grade school. I wanted to get home quickly, counting out the days left on my fingers. Waking up this morning, I was somehow reminded of that. I mean, look at that. That is totally ancient looking. I don't know. I'm not sure if I've even stayed at a hotel in my life, to be honest. Just like you hear all kinds of things in hotels. The good hotels and the shit hotels. But I've never been to either the shit or the good or the in-between, because I don't think I've been to a hotel. But look at this, man. This is totally old looking design, which I suppose is fitting. I don't know how else to describe it really. It just screams. I don't know. I can't tell if it really is the 70s looking, because it's 1978 in the plot and they've always taken a picture of some sort, or whether it's like it could be a Monday one. For me, it just screams 90s because I was born at the start of the 90s, so I would kind of remember these kind of a bit maybe of something similar-ish in design. that you just don't see much of today. But then again, this could be modern. Who knows? Who cares? There's a need to be with my wife when she gave birth to a particular type of homesickness. As a productive member of society, as a public servant down to the village duties, it was pathetic indeed. Those negative emotions faded as I downed my breakfast, which was surprisingly not half bad. Meeting with the informant that the wish he had provided would be tonight. Until then, I couldn't just be lazing around. The Akasaka Defense Alliance was protecting the dam's construction in various ways. Included in this was a strategy for improving public relations, which could be categorized into two major forms, competitive and peaceful. In regards to the former, as an attempt to keep law enforcement intact, they appealed to the public's sympathy by highlighting the oppressive and inhumane tactics of the police and the brutality of the riot squads. The latter peaceful route stressed how precious the natural surroundings of Hinamizawa was, seeking people who would oppose the dam on environmental grounds. As a part of that, the village of Hinamizawa had invited celebrated zoologists and botanists, as well as environmental groups to advertise the nature surrounding the town. According to the news, in recent years there had been a group calling itself Hinamizawa Nature Watch and setting up free sightseeing tours. I would have liked to have taken advantage of the opportunity, but when I called the village administrative offices, they responded that it was too late to put in an application for the tour. They were still undecided as to when they'd be doing another one. Let's see, so there's no application for the next time. Too bad. Are you a member of an environmental group? Or maybe somebody from a magazine? Oh, just here privately. Privately, then you're a tourist. Something like that. It's my hobby to take pictures that display how beautiful nature can be. I read in a magazine that there were some precious nature reserves here, so I was looking forward to it. Wait, so is this him meeting with the informant now? I see. And he's just like, what are you, Tomitake now? I knew there was an article that had something like that written in it, but I hadn't actually read it. Was it this ad-lib lie not going to work? However, contrary to my expectations, the person I was speaking to laughed happily. Then come. The village is a little busy right now, but you are totally welcome here. In that case, I'll gracefully accept the offer. Thank you. How are you getting around? Car. In that case, could I ask you for your license plate number? Oh no, there's no ulterior motive behind that. It was probably related to the checkpoints they set up on the way to the village. If I didn't give them my license plate number, I'd most likely be hindered in various ways. I thought about using the car I'd borrowed from the prefecture, but I was lost on whether it was okay to tell them that plate number. If the Akasaka Defense Alliance was behind this incident, there's no guarantee that they wouldn't be able to find out who I was. I had to play it safe, so I elected to refrain from using the car. No, actually I'm not using the car. If there's a bus or something, I'd prefer that. We do have a bus, actually. The route is going to be discontinued soon, though. You can take that. It departs from Oakmere Station. That's something different. Oh wait, that's probably why then, isn't it? It's like, oh, the bus service there is going to be discontinued soon, and this is 1978. There's no wonder we never heard anything about no buses in the main plot, because that takes place 4 years later. Thank you very much. I'll look out for it. When will you be coming? Is it your first time in Hinamizawa? If it is, you must be unsure about a lot of things. If you let me know, I can have somebody show you around. Oh, no, I cannot stand much of you. Don't worry about it. That's just a bit of PR we do, to protect nature around the village. Judging by what I saw at the checkpoint, the villagers were at the very least wary of outsiders. It's why in order to move in and out of the village freely, I had to travel with somebody like Higurashi or side with the dam protests. Having an interest in the natural environments around the village ties into the peaceful type of PR that the village is using. I was a bit against having a watchdog attached to me, but that might actually work out in my favor. The entire village was fired up about the dam protests, I might be lucky enough to hear some especially candid opinions from the residents. Given that, there was no real reason for me to refuse their offer. Is it really alright? So, that'll really help. After that, I was shown the bus schedule and directed to which bus I should get on. Somebody would come and meet me at the bus stop in the village. After showing me around a spot I'd taken interest in, and there was no doubt they'd bring me to somewhere like an anti-dam information center. Then over a cup of tea they'd try and indoctrinate me into accepting their principles and beliefs. Well, if that was their aim, there'd be a lot of freebies involved. The world is about give and take after all. I couldn't be going in a suit. I pulled some plain clothes out of my travel case and changed into something more casual. Which was nothing. No. Imagine that. Just like, what the hell? Who brought the naked guy? After that, after calming down by watching some local television, they left the hotel and set out for Auckland FC. The bus routes that I was told would soon be discontinued certainly didn't look that way. So you're in a bus now, on a bus. Well, on, whichever one you want. And this really does. Remember, like, a few times I've mentioned a Let's Play on YouTube called Zeta Plays, and how, like, he has this wheel crap thing, and he has, like, all these games, and essentially whatever number he lands on, he picks that, and he goes from, like, Super Nintendo, Genesis, and NES. And there's a few sound visual novels on the Super Nintendo, which I never would have thought was a thing, but he's come across quite a number of them. And they all have this distinct look, like this right here. They'll have this kind of photorealistic background, usually. Sometimes it'd be more kind of like cartoony anime style, but usually it'd be kind of like silhouettes, maybe like actual people appearing on the screen, like a photo. But they usually have photo backgrounds like this, essentially. So, I suppose maybe that's one of the other defining things of a sound novel. The difference between a sound novel and a visual novel is the style they go with, maybe. The bus route to their soul would soon be discontinued. Oh, another thing. Like, one that he actually came across kind of recently, I was like kind of curious, so I tried to play it myself, or read it myself. And it's all in Japanese, obviously. Like, when he went through it, he just makes up his own story because he can't understand it. But I couldn't understand it either. I was like trying to translate it, but a lot of kanji characters, you know? So every time I'd be like, well, I recognize the kanji characters for referring to a woman, and I know the one referring to, you know, saying what or why. And there was a lot of whats in that. It's just like, I didn't know what was going on, but I knew that they said what. That and however, because I saw that as well. Shikashi. I've seen that so many times in the sound novels it's come across. They always be like, blah 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 blah, shikashi, which I think means however. It's just like, however, blah 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 blah. Anyway, let's continue. There was more than enough trips on the schedule, and the number of passengers was by no means sparse. It was the main link to near the only town in the island. Types of passengers that stood out were older folk who played the good drive, and housewives who didn't seem like the adults. That pretty much sums up buses in general, isn't it? Older people, people like parents who are pram, teenagers here and there, some people maybe in their 20s, just mostly older folk. If the area was submerged at the bottom of the lake, it wouldn't matter if there was a bus route. What do you think is the most annoying type of bus passenger? It's just like, you got a lot of variety, like different types of people out here on the bus. I think it's mostly younger people that I find annoying, because they're the type that are more likely to go, let's talk loudly about stupid shit. Well, old people do that as well, but they're quieter as well. Oh, that's all, yeah, it's noise. While the more younger are more like, hey, remember when I fucked that bitch? Not like that. But I remember one time on a bus, it was so surreal. This one girl was chatting with her friend. She was fucking talking about fisting. Just like in a public setting, in a bus. On a bus of all things. Who the fuck talks about fisting on a bus? Like, he wasn't talking about, oh, fisting on a bus. No, she was just talking about fisting in general while on a bus. And it was just like, what the fuck? Another case for the older generation. What, like, earlier this week when I went to caught a bus, arrived at the bus station, went through the door, and there was an old man with a newspaper open and tits on the front cover. I was just like, dude. This is like two questions came to mind. One, why would you look at that in public? Two, they still have those. Just like, I think it must have been the Sun. I think they're the ones known for that. So it's like, okay, we got a newspaper. Turn the first page, tits. It's just like, that's probably how they do it, isn't it? It's like, no, we won't focus on this journalism jargon. Just put tits on the cover and people will be drawn to it. We know what works. Sex sells. Anyways. In the unnatural scheme of things, I could catch a glimpse of the government's intent in cutting off their means of transportation to delay the bird into Let's get to the bus stop already. It makes sense according to the documents. Talks between the Ministry of Infrastructure and the locals broke down quite early. The government decided from the start to take an aggressive stance on the matter. It was like the fairy tale with the north wind and the sun trying to get the traveller remove his cloak. From their bullying had meaning to it. The reason why they want to cover two defense lines and this is so widely was because the government was doing unseen and things like that. There was somebody who lived in Tokyo, so far a village or two out in the boonies like this. To be submerged didn't seem like a big deal. But these are people's lives, Akasaka. These are people's lives that's dealing with. I guess for somebody actually living here, it would be like a profit. No shit. This ride will be discontinued in the blah. On the blah of the blah. Thank you for your patronage up to this point. We look forward to your continued patronage on our other lines. Blah transportation. I mean, do they really need to have that censored out, essentially? It's like, on the blah of the blah, I mean, it's 1978, so maybe it's later on in the year. Maybe, I don't know. Gazing lazily after notice of discontinued service posted inside the bus, I counted down the number of stops until designated one. Along the way, we passed through the checkpoint before stopping. They knew what time the bus was coming, so they had opened up the barricade ahead of time. I've realized my charger isn't even charging at all. You know what? I'm going to stop recording right there. I'm going to let it charge. I'm going to take out the charge and put it back in because that's how it registers it usually. And I'm going to get it up to a reasonable amount because this freaking noise that I imagine must be playing with it for quite some time now is going to be annoying as shit. So I'll be right back.